Husband finally sees she's a devil too. Milo was born in October and my in-laws' visa to Canada got declined. I was very happy about this. However, this meant that they demanded we visit them so they can meet their grandson. As soon as I was healed from my C-section. So at 8 weeks postpartum, we flew 12 hours across the world. We were staying for 4 weeks. The first 2 weeks of us being there, my in-laws were barely home. My FL owns a factory and he was never home. Even though he doesn't physically work, he just sits in his office and can literally leave anytime he wants. But he did not. He would come home at 9 p.m. every day. My MIL is a stay-at-home wife/mom, and she was barely home, but for her it was hang out with her friends, always at the nail salon, hair salon, dietitian, etc. My husband has a big extended family as well. I grew up with no family, so I'm not used to it. I told him when we get there that I didn't want all of his cousins and aunts and uncles to visit every single day for 4 weeks. I suggested that we have 2 to 4 days where we ask everyone to visit us between, instead of a different cousin visiting us every day. I wanted to have some vacation time and free days for us to go out. MIL said, how about we have a big party and invite everyone at once? I didn't like this idea as it would be overstimulating for my 8-week-old and overwhelming for me. She wanted it 4 days later. I wasn't ready or had a dress of anything. Turns out she was bullshitting and already had a venue and everything planned. She used my 4-day thing as an excuse to say, well, this is what you wanted. I tried to say, no, I don't want this event, but she kept saying it's just a short lunch with family, and as the grandparents, they really wanted to host something. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. They're paying, they're hosting. 150 people were invited. It was basically a wedding. It was at a wedding venue. Literally. The day comes and my son got super fussy after dozens of people came to him, touching his hands, trying to play with him like he's a toy. He starts screaming nonstop. My husband and I went to the bridal room, and it took us 1 hour to calm him down and he slept. My MIL then demands we bring him out because people are here to see him. I said absolutely not. They already saw him. Took us 1.5 hours to soothe and put him down. She was not happy. I did not care. That night, her and my husband got into an argument and my husband decided to tell me that he paid for that entire event. I was absolutely livid. I asked why he didn't tell me. By this point, he had sent 50% of the cost to the catering company, and he had the venue to send the rest to. I said, you're absolutely not sending the rest. Turns out his mom told him, well, we can't afford to host this event. It's your son, you better pay for it. I told my husband we literally spent $5,000 on our flight tickets, and each took 4 weeks off of work to be here, losing thousands of dollars in income. And she wants us, who are guests, to pay for an event she wanted. She clearly just wanted to show off to her family. I didn't let my husband pay the rest. She was mad. When he came upstairs, I told him we're not staying there anymore and going to an Airbnb the next day. He agreed and we left the next day. She was angry, saying we're keeping her from spending time with her grandson, when she was never home anyways. She would come at 9 p.m. and complain why our son is sleeping. He was 2 months old. I'm just relieved that my husband finally knows who she really is. It's the first time I didn't have to convince him to stay at an Airbnb, and he agreed. So much so that week she texted him saying, I'm near your Airbnb, I had an appointment, can I come visit my grandson? He said no, he is sleeping. So my husband finally grew some balls against his mom. He always defended me, but this time it's just next level. He says we'll never stay at their home again and won't visit as often. If we do, we'll stay at our own space where they can just visit for a few hours. I'm so much happier. I'm so happy we live across the world, and so is my husband now. I'm so happy their visas got declined because they won't be able to visit us. If they do, they can get their own place too. I will never host his mother in my entire life. Edit to add. I'd only visit their city again because I love that city. It's how I met my husband while I was solo traveling. We also have a home at a nearby island there. I'd also like my son so know his grandparents. His grandpa is great. Just not the grandma. Plus my dad has passed away, so he only has one grandpa. I'd like him to know him. My husband's little sister is 19 and an angel. She took time off and canceled all her plans with her BF and friends to hang out with us, to babysit, etc. I'd like for her to be in his life as well. My husband absolutely did not know about that event. We didn't tell them we're coming until just 1 week before, and the event was 4 days after we got there. She really did plan everything within a week. The venue was owned by their close family friend and neighbor that they just purchased. Their city is huge, and if you wanted to have a wedding the next day, you could. In fact, the venue did not even ask my husband or family to pay that night. Because it was a family friend. It was my MIL that insisted my husband pay right away. I know she only did that so my husband just had no time to think about it, or no time to even tell me. Thankfully he did, and he only ended up paying for catering, and she ended up paying for the venue and the rest of the costs associated. He told her to take a loan if she can't afford it. Ick how she paid it, but their problem.